This is the Slow Wardrobe. Come and have a look. Hello, welcome to episode 94 of the Slow Wardrobe podcast. My name is Linda and I'm your host. In this episode, I will give you an update on what I've been knitting and crocheting, and we follow that section with a Layercake section as per usual, this time focusing on the summer version of the love dress. What's summery about it is the fact that the love dress is now available in no less than 25 different colours in our summer weight linen. And normally I have a select number of colours that are part of the regular range that we carry in stock, and then the other colours can be ordered as a bespoke item. This particular pre-order that we're running at the moment, that is not the case. All 25 colours are up for grabs and there is no bespoke fee to pay on them. So if you're interested to have some styling ideas, styling tips, see some of the colours and see how I combine them with other layer cakes, then that's the section for you. But first off, knitting. Well now, knitting. It's finally completely finished, and as I already showed you last time, I was nearly done, but I still had to hand sew the ribbon that I had chosen to cover my steek on the inside of the front panels. That's now completely finished as well, so the whole thing is ready for wear, and of course it's too warm to wear now, but that's all right. I'll be eyeing it up until the weather turns again at the end of summer. And in the meantime, I'll be working on the pattern for this garment, both this one and the one I made before. Also, stripy one will be represented in this pattern in sizes that run along the same lines as the layer cake sizes. So 4 sizes in total, and similar colors to this. But, you know, there are going to be other options. These, both cardigans, the first and the second one, were made using Malabrigo Finito, which is a discontinued yarn that I had bought years ago. It was deep stash, and when I rediscovered it, I knitted the first cardigan. I then hunted around online to get some more in whatever colors I could get. I knitted this second version out of it. In the process though, I discovered that the running length of the yarn as well as the gauge of the yarn is identical to my Yak Blend 2 yarn, which is hanging here. And a number of the existing colours are very close to some of the Malabrigo colours that I used. And I'm going to ask Sharon, the dyer of my Yak Blend 2 yarns, 5 Moons, of course, Sharon from 5 Moons yarns, to dye up any gaps in the range so that I have a couple of really nice colorways to offer alongside the pattern. It's going to be a while before this pattern is released, and I won't bore you every episode with more news about the cardigan, but at least you now know that from now until probably sometime this autumn, we're working behind the scenes to make the knitting pattern available, and then there'll be kits with the Yak Blend 2 to purchase as and when they're ready. So that's the first finished object. The rest of my current knitting and crochet is all happening in linen and a linen cotton blend. I've been promising you now for months, I feel, a knitted version of the phone pouch. Here's one that I am crocheting again in a new gradient that is coming out this autumn. But here is a finished version, unlined as of yet. I just finished the knitting part of it. A knitted version of the phone pouch in a linen stitch. And I have used 2 different linen colors in my 3-ply linen to do that with, to approach a color that's similar to blood orange. It's not identical, but it's quite similar. And that's these 2 colors, the bright pink, the hot pink color that I have, and this second color, which of course I can't remember the name of when put on the spot. But these two colors are what make up this particular blend. Of course, you can knit the linen stitch in one plain color. It doesn't have to be done with two colors, but it's definitely an option. And again, once the pattern is finished, when I've finished writing up the pattern and I've photographed the sample, I'll be offering some kits alongside the pattern, alongside the knitted pattern version, to create a very similar look with either gradients or single colors, or like this, a two-color version. So it's finally on its way, and I just finished knitting this earlier this week, so in time to show you here finally. Then I'm crocheting another. It looks a little bit strange and bobbly because I just shove it in my pocket. I'm crocheting another little one, and the ball of the color that I'm crocheting at the moment is in here as well. But I'm crocheting one in a gradient, and I'm doing a double gradient here. I'm going from a dark grey to a duck egg blue, and then from a duck egg blue to an eau de Nil, very light eau de Nil. So I've got another 2 or so, 1.5 to 2 inches to go. And then that will be finished as well. So I'll take this on holiday with me. I'm about to go on holiday to France to celebrate that 2 of our kids have managed to land themselves with a bachelor's degree this spring. And the older one had already done that a number of years ago. So both of them, our boys, they're both wanting to keep studying, and they've both applied for master's degree courses in the Netherlands, where the tuition fees are not as obscene as they are here in the UK. And luckily, through me with my Dutch passport, they automatically have the Dutch nationality. And also, luckily, there are a number of Dutch universities that teach courses, master's courses, bachelor's and master's courses in English. And again, through their dual nationality, we haven't lost the option to send them abroad with the move of the UK out of Brexit, which I still think is a diabolical robbing of UK students of their option to spread their wings and study in the EU for a reasonable amount of money, because of course they're now all being treated as ex-EU citizens, and therefore have to end up paying more extortionate fees again. So anyway, I won't get stuck in a Brexit discussion, but they have got their bachelor's degrees, and because they've literally just finished those in the 1 or 2 weeks gone past, we now have booked a week to celebrate that with them in France. I thought if we try and go as soon as possible after they finish, then they can literally put up their feet together with us and kind of reflect on how they found this past year, because of course it's been quite an eventful year. 3 years of university study, one of which was really half non-existent because of lockdowns. Their first year, of course, was still during the pandemic. So they've really only had 2 proper years of university. And in my opinion, that is quite short. So I couldn't agree more with them to want to keep studying for a bit longer and prolong this period of their life to kind of find their feet as independent adults, without the pressure of trying to create more of an everyday life, and be able to live the luxury a little bit longer of focusing on their personal development in the shape of their education. So hopefully that will come to pass, and both of them will stream on to their master's degrees like their sister did 5 years ago. Anyway, enough about the kids. Complete digression, which I hadn't planned at all, but hence my trip to France coming up. And this will be coming with me because it's such a lovely project to just have in my pocket, and wherever I sit or stand, couple of quick stitches in some cases, because of course it's just this plus my hook that I can roll up and stick in a pocket. So it's uber ultra portable. I don't ever have anything lying in my lap, so it doesn't get warm, because even if it is going to be warm in France, it doesn't get sticky because it's linen rather than wool. So heartily recommend doing one of these on your holidays. You might end up doing more than you anticipate before you set off. So then what else am I working on? I told you again last time that I had started knitting a yarn that I had found. I finally have a complete ball with me. It's the Essayer Trio 2. It is a blend of linen and cotton and lyocell. So all, both cotton and lyocell, of course, cellulose derived yarns, thread fibers, 50% linen, 30% cotton, 20% lyocell, and they're little balls of 50 grams, and it runs 175 meters per 50 grams, so 350 per 100 grams, i.e. a proper 4-ply. I'm knitting this on 3mm needles, and I'll show you the name of the pattern that I'm knitting, which is supposed to be done in a narrow stripe, but because of the combination of these two colors and the number of balls that I've bought, I've come up with a slightly different kind of stripe, slightly wider, and the red is slightly wider than the blue. Again, it's to accommodate the combination of balls that I bought. And it's quite an unusual pattern. It is a pattern where this is the back, the top of the back, and you can see that there's absolutely no neckline. It's because this ends up sitting at the top of your back, and these sections end up being pulled around your neck, where this ends up being the rounding of the neck, and the tops of the edges here, the first section of the side of the knitting that I'm doing, ends up being the shoulder seam that attaches the front panel. So it's a really cool construction. The whole thing is meant to be sleeveless. Well, you end up with a little bit of a cap sleeve because of this particular construction. So if you go back to the bit that I was explaining before, this section ends up folding around like that to the front, and then this section ends up being the back of the sleeve hole, the armhole, if you can follow what I mean. So that's how it ends up sitting roughly. And once the armhole that I've done here is long enough, I then attach a front panel, and then you knit the rest in the round. So the idea is that it ends up being a sleeveless garment. I don't know yet whether I'm going to leave it sleeveless. A 4-ply yarn in this kind of gauge, even though it's cotton and linen, to me doesn't seem thin and lofty enough to make a sleeveless garment out of. So I end up thinking that it's too thick to just be a sleeveless top for summer. I may be wrong, and of course I can delay that decision. I can knit the whole thing, see what I think about fit and shaping, and then decide whether I want to add any kind of sleeves, short ones or medium length or full length. I'll decide later. I was in two minds on whether I wanted to keep going on this, but every time I look at the fabric, I do really like it. So I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt, and also acknowledge that, of course, it is all a bit scrunched up because there hasn't been any kind of blocking, and because of the stitch that I'm using, I end up at the beginning and the end of every stripe doing one row where I just knit one, slip one, to get that kind of jagged edge to the stripes, if you like. And because of that, the whole thing ends up being quite scrunched up. So it probably looks a lot smaller than it is going to be once it's properly relaxed and blocked. So I'm not going to give up on it yet. I'm going to keep going. And this is another one that's coming to France with me, again, because it's linen and cotton. So that's my knitting at the moment and my crochet as it is. And then I just have 2 yarns to show you that I haven't actually done anything with, but that are new yarns that have come out of the market, onto the market, and that just looked so divine to me that I have to give them a go. I'll ask Sharon to do some dyeing of them to see how she finds that, and I will be doing some knitting with it undyed as it is, because you can see that this has a bit of a color to it already. This is a blend of alpaca, merino, silk, and yak, baby yak. And baby yak, of course, has a color, which is here. This is the yak when it's in its undyed state, the very fine yak fiber, 50% blended with silk. So you can see that it's quite a dark brown. And there is, I think, 10%. I'll put the proper percentages down here. But there is a percentage of the baby yak down in this yarn that, of course, gives it the beautiful fine halo, but that also provides that bit of color. I think it's stunning. I can't wait to see how colors take on it. And I think it's a very nice yarn to accompany the yak blend too, possibly. The jury's out. I'm going to play with it and then decide. This one is a one that is a little bit like a cloud-like yarn as well. Again, I will put the fiber content down here. I bought this a little bit longer ago, and this also is a yarn that has a core, just like this has, with fluff kind of spun around it, if you like. Very different to this one, but a wonderful hand. It feels divine. I have done a little bit of knitting with this and I really like it. It reminds me a little bit of Fiber Spade's Cumulus. Again, I'll find and write the yardage of this down here as well. And I'm also going to ask Sharon to dye a bit of this to see how she finds that to dye with. She's just very busy at the moment, so I don't want to bother her too much with my whims. But at some point, I'll get some of these dyed up and I will feedback if I'm going to do anything more substantial with them, maybe do some kits with them, or let me know what you think of yarns like this. This, of course, is, well, both of them, but especially this very wispy one is another good example that is a possibility for the very popular type of mohairs that are being held together with smoother yarns to create more of a halo. Let me know whether you like using yarns like that. And this one, without holding it together with something else, you get that same kind of effect. Once I've got some knitted samples, I will show you those in one of my future episodes. But I just thought, well, I'll update you on what some of my dream knitting is about behind the scenes. And, well, that's about it, I think, for this episode. Apart from this, I'm sure I'll soon be casting on a different garment. But I've been holding off a little bit because I really was very self-conscious how long it had taken me to knit this. I really wanted to finish this. And I thought, well, if I'm going to spend a little bit of time on holiday, then the last thing I'll do is select a new woolly project to put on the needle, because then I want to work on it. And that warm weather that we're getting is not going to be, that hopefully we're getting. I'm trying to speak future here. But if we're going to get some nice weather in France, then I'll be sticking to my linen and cotton yarns rather than dragging any of the wool projects around with me. But I'm sure that by the next episode, well, I may or may not have a new project lined up already. In terms of next episode 95 will be coming out later than normal. So if everything was going as per usual, then the next episode would come out on the 22nd of June. But due to my holiday, there's no way I'll be able to do that. So I will decide when I get back from holiday whether I will immediately follow up with an episode, Layercake and knitting podcast, or whether I will send out a newsletter, because as some of you may know, I alternate those. One week is a newsletter, another week is one of these episodes. So I will update you as soon as I can. Meanwhile, there's a Layercake section waiting for you, so here it comes. Enjoy. Today, the Layercake love dress. And I'm starting with a love dress that's not actually part of the current special offer. The reason for this is that I realized this morning that with the current duster production, the pre-order of the dusters that we've just done, where the large bright check was one of the options for the short or medium length duster, that after that duster production we'll probably have enough large bright check fabric left for about five or six garments, and that is across play suits, love dresses, tulip dresses, baggies, smocks, anything that we've done in the large bright check. So I've got a couple of them in a couple of different sizes in stock. This is one example. This is a size 1 regular love dress. And because we're love dressing today, I thought I'll take this opportunity to show this one, but to also warn you that if you are keen on a large bright check, any garment in the Layercake lineup, including the love dress, then be aware that we're running out of stock of that fabric. And there will be a new large check fabric coming in for the autumn, but it's a very different large check. It's not a large bright check, so it's very different. It's much more autumnal, and I don't mean specifically autumnal colors, but duller colors and calmer colors and darker and lighter and more contrast, but not bright like this one. So if the large bright check is your jam, don't wait too long. See if, and as soon as I think we're running out of stock, I will block orders or pre-orders on large bright check Layercake. So hopefully throughout June we'll still be able to run, but it all depends on whether there's a run on the large bright check fabric or not. So that's just to preempt what I'm actually going to be talking about, which is the love dress in the summer weight. Until now, I had already split the warmer, the heavier linen of the tulip dresses listing on the website from the summer weight, but the love dress was still a combination of some of the lighter weight, like the magpie, for example, and the heavier weight, like the large bright check. So I've made that separation as well now, especially with that update of the My Choice colors. There is a color spectrum of no less than 25 different colors that you can choose from for the love dress. And I think it's 16 or 17 colors of the heavier linen that you can choose from for the heavier linen love dress. But it's that summer weight, because of the time of year really, and the abilities to layer with it, that is on special offer to celebrate those updated My Choices throughout the website. So the other thing, of course, that has changed and introduced with this summer love dress offer is a new length. And at the moment, like I said, I'm wearing the regular length, and I have a picture of a dress that we made not too long ago in the longer length. And I'll show that picture here. It is in one of the colors, Pine, that is part of the special offer. It's a color that I've never properly introduced, so here it is with all the other colors that are part of this special offer. And you can get a good impression there of how that length compares with the regular length. Because of the timing of this offer and the fact that I'm about to go on holiday, well, later on this week, we haven't actually had a chance to make a dress in that long length to show you. But an indication of how long that long dress is on me, you get already here with the regular length baggies that I'm wearing underneath the love dress. But I'll also show you a long tulip dress worn under a regular length love dress to again show you what the silhouette is like when you go for a long dress option in the love dress. For those of you who already wear long tulip dresses, then you know exactly what to expect. It's the tulip dress with sleeves, your long tulip dress with sleeves. However, apart from showing that extra length and showing the differences of different lengths, I'm also going to have another play and another demo of playing with different sizes, because the size 1 on me, the love dress on me, is about as tight as I can go with it. I still have a little bit of positive ease. It still kind of just about skims over my hips, which are a bit more jutty outy because of my weight gain over the last 6 months or so. But I still feel very comfortable when I move around. And so the size 1 regular and the 1 petite, and in the future the 1 long love dress, I can just about get away with those still. However, if I then translate that to the tulip dresses, I cannot get into a size 1 tulip dress anymore. My bust has just gone just over the measurement where that looks good. I can squeeze myself into it, but it's like that it starts pulling a little bit around my hips and whatever. So a size 2 is the better option for me. So this is an example of me now being on the cusp of a size 1 and a size 2, where in the love dress I can easily get away with a size 1, and in the tulip dress it's like, ooh, not so lucky with smocks and tabards and the play suits with those big armholes. Yeah, can just about do the size 1 yet. But the tulip dress, which has got higher armholes and a little bit less depth there so that you can wear it more as a summer dress, I can't do the size 1 there anymore. So I'll move on now. I'll get out of this dress because, like I said, it's not part of the special offer. And I'll show you some of the colors that are, as well as different sizes and different lengths, so you can see how much room you have to play with the shaping that is the love dress and the different silhouettes that you can create with that as a result. Here's the first change. So here is a magpie dress in a size 1 petite. See how the tops of the pockets are pretty much at waist height on me, and the length of the dress has gone up to knee height on me. But then in combination with the regular length baggies, which of course are cropped on me as well, you see a lot more of the baggies, and you get an idea of the difference in the silhouette. Still, because it's a size 1, I can move around in it very comfortably, and it's definitely a size I can wear. However, in my case, if I have those pockets higher and everything, this to me does not feel quite as comfortable as the size 1 regular does. It all does feel a little bit cropped, which of course it is, because the dress is intended for shorter frames than mine. So what I would do if I wear a love dress that is in the petite length, I'll size up to a size 2. And you'll see that the silhouette changes and it becomes a very different garment. Let me show you. Different color. I don't have the magpie in a size 2 petite, but this is the chartreuse in a 2 petite. So you can see that we're still knee length, but look at how the proportions have changed. Of course, I've got a lot more space to move. I've got a lot more space around my hips, so the dress is less clingy around my hips, but I also have, of course, a lot more positive ease around the bust. That together with the fact that because I don't fill it up as much at the top, the sleeves end up being a little bit longer, and the whole thing ends up looking and feeling a little bit more generous without swamping me. So yes, that size 1 fits me in terms of movement, but in terms of proportions, I think this is a much better choice. The pockets are ever so slightly down because everything is proportionally a bit bigger. So the pockets are a little bit further down, not quite on my waist. And because it's still a petite length dress, it doesn't turn into a really big dress, if you like. So if I go up one size to the size 2 regular in the love dress, so I drop that length, again, you'll see that the proportions then change. And I believe, in my opinion, it's still really within reason. It still doesn't turn into a really oversized garment. I'll show you again. So this is the size 2 regular. I'm back in Magpie. I want to try and recapture the color story that I've also kind of lined up. So size 2 regular. Again, all that extra space that I was just referring to in the chartreuse, but a longer length. Now, with the new length that comes in, the long length, I would go down in length again. So what I'll do next is I'll put a long length tulip dress in the same size 2 long, on underneath this dress so that you can see exactly how much extra length you would gain by going for a long dress versus a regular length dress. And then I'll size down again to a size 1 so that you can see the difference in the silhouette that you then create. Here we go. So here is a cerulean, our beautiful, beautiful cerulean blue. Wonderful choice, I think, for one of the love dresses. Cerulean tulip dress in the size 2 long over the top of the love dress in the size 2 regular, and you can see exactly what happens. Am I holding that right to illustrate? Yeah, you get a good idea of the amount of length. It's about 5 inches that the long length would add to the regular length. And then imagine it all in one color, of course, and you get a good idea of what the size 2 regular love dress would look like on me. I really like those proportions, and of course, because of the extra space I have, I could then layer lots of things underneath it as well as over the top. It gives me both of those options. Whereas if I go down to a size 1 love dress with my current measurements, then I can just about fit a play suit underneath, but I can't work with lots of tops and warmer tops in the winter, for example. So if I want to layer underneath my love dress, I should size up to a 2 as well, to be honest. And as you can see, that still ends up looking like a really nice option without it looking too big and swampy on me. Now, if I would go up to a size 3 love dress, I would size up even further. Then I would start steering away from the longest length, because that dress is cut and shaped to hold a much bigger body. And as a result, if you then, that goes across all the sizes, if you size up too much and you go for extra long lengths, then in the case of the love dress and the long length, it would almost touch the ground, because there's just more fabric that can hang down because it's not sitting around me further up, if you like. So you then have to start keeping that in mind with the length that you choose. However, the shaping is all such that that length is really the only restricting factor. In terms of circumference, even a size 3 love dress would still look good. It would still not be too long in terms of sleeves. That's another reason that we do these sleeves like this, so that when you size up, you don't drown in it, you just get a different silhouette. So, enough about silhouettes. You have a bit of an idea of what the long dress does. I will go back to the size 1 in the love dress, again, so that you can see what that then looks like when you elongate that silhouette with a longer length. Last bit about long lengths. So I have a little bit too much fabric, of course, at the bottom of this dress, because I'm wearing a size 2 tulip underneath a size 1 love dress, and that is to accommodate my current bust. If I try to squeeze myself into a size 1 tulip dress, like I said, I get squished a bit, so I've gone for the size 2. Still, you get an idea though of the silhouette that you get when you wear the longer dress, that elongated column shape with a more fitted shape around the bust. I'll show you that pine color dress one more time. That's a size 1 in the long, to give you an idea of what that looks like. So now, other colors and other things you can do with your love dresses. For example, play with a playsuit. Playsuit over the top of a love dress. I've shown this to you before. This is a regular length love dress, and regular length garments fit underneath, dresses fit underneath the regular length playsuit. So the hemline of the dress doesn't fight with the zip of the playsuit. They fit over the top of each other. Of course, I can wear the playsuit underneath the dress, and then you get a look that is much more similar to the one I started with, where I was wearing a regular length pair of baggies underneath a regular length dress. But this is the other way around, and of course that's the extra opportunity that playsuits give you. By wearing them underneath another garment, they look like a pair of trousers, and by wearing them over the top, you create that elongated playsuit, jumpsuit kind of effect. Andy pandy suit, as some of my customers still call it, but boy oh boy, you're not going to get more comfortable than in one of these. So this is also a color that I specifically wanted to recommend for the love dresses. This is the color Rivulet. It's like a duck egg, bluey green color, and it's the same color actually that's in the what's it called again, Sweet Pea. So that same ducky eggy blue, but then mixed with a pale lilac, creates Sweet Pea, and mixed with Magpie, which is this, we get Rivulet. Very, very versatile color because it's both light and dark, depending on how you look at it. It's one of those cross weaves that ends up working out quite magically, and I'm really, really happy with. So in terms of dresses, I think a love dress in Rivulet is a really good choice, depending on the other colors, of course, that you have in your Layercake lineup. So moving on from here, I'm going to go back into chartreuse, because that's also a really, really nice color to show you against Rivulet. And of course, chartreuse is also one of the summer colors. So this is my own personal copy of the love dress in chartreuse. Size 1 regular, been washed and washed and washed to high heaven. I chuck it in the dryer even. So I like that kind of puckering effect. And I must say that if you always put your layer cakes in the dryer, I still believe that even though the layer cakes are all pre-shrunk, I think over time, I think I still have ended up losing a little bit of length. I've never measured it, but that's just gut feel. But that's multiple times washing and multiple times in the dryer. And of course, if you really want to preserve your linens, then it's best to just chuck them in the washing machine, no problem. And the temperature isn't really either. That's fine too, but you definitely get a longer life out of your linen if you don't put it in the dryer, but air dry it instead. And that's purely because the air blowing around in a dryer ends up taking some of your fibers out. That's why you've got a filter that ends up clogging up with fiber. And if those fibers are not in your garment anymore, then of course they take away a little bit of volume from that garment. So that means that over time the fabric becomes ever so slightly thinner. It's all marginal and it takes a long time, etc. And it's not like the garment suffers. And like I said, I really like that puckered kind of look. But I'll show you the difference of what my chartreuse now looks like when I show it right next to a brand new hot off the press chartreuse, because I just spotted I've got a chartreuse duster, a long chartreuse duster that I can throw on over the top, just so you see the difference. Here it is, long chartreuse duster, brand new and properly pressed, compared to my chartreuse dress that has been washed and washed and washed multiple times and that I don't tend to press at all. So when that comes out of the dryer, unless I've got really nasty folds in the facings, for example, which doesn't really happen much when you take it out of the dryer straight away, then I just hang it up and I'll just start wearing it again without pressing it. So I think the difference is almost indiscernible. I would say there is a tiny difference, which is mostly caused by that puckering effect, the fact that it hasn't been pressed. And so there's a slight texture difference between the two linens more than anything else. And that's actually something that I really like. I love same color, different texture next to each other. But also, I also wanted to show you the effect of having a duster with a dress in the same color. Now this is one of the dusters with ties, because as you may be aware of, we've just done a pre-order of dusters with or without ties. So this is the long duster with ties, which I can, of course, tie like this, kind of open, so I still properly see the dress underneath. Or I can tie it a bit more closed and wear it more like a coat, like a swaggery kind of coat, with just bits of the dress peeping out. And of course I'll be wearing my duster soon as I go on holiday, so I can throw it over my swimsuit, going in and out of a pool, I hope. So, duster, chartreuse dress in that size 1 regular. I'm quickly going to pop the petite length back on as well in the chartreuse color, just to remind you of that difference, and then we'll move on. Showing you the difference again in silhouette more than anything else, and to show you what a long duster is like with a petite love dress. I'll see if I've got a medium length duster as well in a minute. I've also changed my play suit. This is a play suit in blood orange. It's my own play suit, and it's just again to show you chartreuse and blood orange together, of course, two citrusy colors, lovely. And yes, so chartreuse, long duster, play suit, long length, love dress, size 2 petite. And of course the duster is just one size, but it shows you the length of the petite dress in relationship to a long duster. Let me grab a medium length duster as well to show how that relates to the petite love dress. And here it is, medium length duster, petite length love dress, long length, because of my height, play suit, to make it full length on me. But the main thing that I wanted to show you is how the petite length of the love dress and the medium length of the duster relate to each other, in case you're interested in combining two, like here. I thought I'd show you a couple more favorite color combinations and really nice color options for the love dress. First, because I'm wearing the blood orange already anyway, I thought I'll show you a color that goes really well with blood orange, which is raspberry. This is raspberry linen. It's ever so slightly less fiery than the plain red linen. It's slightly softer, which when you're wearing a full-length garment like a dress is a really nice alternative. So unless you know, like, no, Fire Engine Red is the one for me, if you think maybe that is a bit bright, then you can tone it down ever so slightly with Raspberry. As you can still see, it's still plenty red, but just not quite as yellow a red as the plain, the regular red color is. So comparing this with magenta, because of course magenta is one of the colors that's actually in the blood orange, because you think, well, blood orange is red and orange, but it isn't. It's actually pink and orange. It just looks red because of that orange color. But combining it with magenta is, of course, another match made in heaven. I'll show you. Magenta and blood orange. And how different does the magenta look as a proper pink rather than a slightly pinkish red that I just had on with the raspberry. Again, a size 1 regular length with my long play suit underneath. And I'm about to move away from the blood orange, but there was one color. It's not actually a summer color, a summer weight linen, and it's not actually a color that we have in stock anymore, bar 1 or 2 last turkeys in the shop of dresses that we have left. There's one right there in the middle of those 3 to give it away. Mixed Spice in combination with blood orange. Oh my gosh, what a match made in heaven. So for those of you who own Mixed Spice already, if you are on the fence about blood orange, boy, does it go well with Mixed Spice. Let me quickly show you. Now, Mixed Spice is like a tobacco-like fawn color blended with the blue that is in Magpie. The thing that happens though when you wear it with blood orange, because blood orange has got an orange in it and it's much more of a fiery orange than that fawn color in Mixed Spice, is that the orange in the blood orange picks up and boosts that orangey color in the Mixed Spice. And I don't know whether that's visible to see at all on camera, but in real life, the blood orange really brings the cross weave that is Mixed Spice to life. This is another size 1 regular length dress, just for reference compared to the others. Now, wearing it with a bright color, of course, that goes for any of the colors in the spectrum. So I might as well demonstrate it with Mixed Spice. Combining it with a really bright color, of course, brings one direction of the color spectrum that is in this cross weave out. But toning it down and going for a more neutral color, for example, with one of the our lovely basics, our cocoon baggies, it pulls it into a completely different direction, and that can be more autumnal, but it doesn't necessarily have to be, depending on the color that you choose. I'll show you. Here are the grey cocoon baggies, that lighter color, which is just a super neutral, combined with that Mixed Spice. And super neutral may be just what you want to make the dress color, whichever color you choose, do the talking. So in this case, with this outfit, that the baggies just stay nicely in the background. They're just a covering for my legs, and they contribute, of course, to the overall silhouette, but they don't take any of the attention away from the dress. And depending on what dress color you're wearing, that may be exactly what you want. There is a contrast, of course, between the dress color and the baggy color. And if I would go to the darker baggies, the slate colored baggies, then of course that contrast becomes less. But rather than showing that, I'm going to grab another love dress that is lighter in color and show that against the color of the grey baggies, and to show you how that affects the overall silhouette, but also how the eye is drawn to that silhouette by having less contrast between top and bottom. So again, this is one of our heavier linens. This is the Sage, and it's a linen that we still have in stock. And yes, it's not part of the special offer, but it's very close to one of our brand new summer linens that I can't show you yet as a love dress because I haven't got it as a love dress, but I have got it as a tulip dress, which I'll throw over the top of this just to, again, show you the point that I'm making about silhouettes, because I hope you can see what I mean with the color of the dress and the baggies being closer together. But let me add that summer color and imagine that as a love dress worn with the baggies. So this is Spring Greens. You've seen it introduced in the play suits and in the tulip dresses. And of course, now we're introducing it as a love dress. Just imagine that the sleeves of this Sage love dress are spring green colored as well. But the other thing that this demonstrates is that if I pull out this fabric, this is a size 2 tulip dress in the regular length, and I'm wearing it over the top of a size 1 love dress. So if you can see how that fabric behaves, that the width and the circumference of the love dress with the dolman sleeves is virtually identical to the width of the tulip dress in the size 2. We don't do that to confuse you, but because the dolman sleeve dress is supposed to be worn a bit more oversized than the tulip dress. So the styling of the love dress is to be a bit more oversized than the way we recommend you wear the tulip dress. And that's why those differences are there. But you can see how they line up when you actually compare garment by garment and size by size. So the fact that this lines up like that is no coincidence either. It means that it really shows you that if you are wearing a size 2 tulip dress, that there's a very big chance that you can fit into a size 1 love dress if you want that much narrower, tighter look, which is not what the intention is behind the love dress. It's supposed to be a bit more relaxed and loose fitting, but I want to give you options with the different sizes. I want you to be comfortable to play with those different sizes and offer sizes that accommodate your body if you have a body that, like mine, fluctuates in weight. And rather than having to replace your wardrobe by cleverly choosing 1 or 2 pieces, you can, if you go up in weight or down in weight, you can give the existing pieces a new lease of life or prolong their life and keep playing with them and keep mixing and matching them. So, one more pair of trousers to show you in combination with a love dress, and then that's it for today. Thank you for bearing with me. I know it's another long one. So almost back to where I started with the size 1 petite length love dress. If I were to wear this outfit, I would go for the size 2 petite love dress in this color in Magpie, but I haven't got it. And I really want to show the Magpie together with the high-lows. These are the high-lows in the cropped length. As you know, we do high-lows in 2 lengths. This is the cropped length, and they've got 1 set of pockets on them, and they are obviously cropped on me. And then the long length high-lows have got 2 sets of pockets on them because the silhouette accommodates that better. And of course, they would be long length on me if I wear them like this, but you can crop all of the high-lows, and I want to show you what you get if you wear high-lows that are cropped already and you then crop them further. So if you normally wear the long length of high-lows and you crop those and you pull that 4 inches or so away from the bottom, what happens if you wear the shorter high-lows, the cropped ones, or the regular length ones, and you crop those further? As a summer trouser, I think it is such a fun look. And when I was putting the garments together for this particular episode, I noticed that there are still some of these large purple check high-lows left, which surprises me because I figured they would have all been gone. But if you love your large purple check and you like the idea of wearing them cropped as I showed you just now, or even further cropped by tying them up like this, then know that there are some available still. I think there's 2 even. But I mean, look at this. Isn't it cute? I think it's such a nice summer trouser, and then worn under a dress or under a tunic or anything like that. I think it's a really, really cool look. So that's just what I wanted to show you. And then, of course, in combination with that crop length dress, again, in terms of silhouette, that works really well. There would be very little of the trouser left if I wore the regular length dress over the top, and I could still get away with it, but wearing the trouser longer then with the longer dress would look better. And if I want to wear the trousers this short, it then works better with a more cropped silhouette up top as well. So, enough. I hope I have given you some inspiration in terms of colors, color combinations, and also about sizing, proportions and lengths for the love dresses in the summer offer. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask me. If in the next week or so my replies come through more delayed, it is because I'm celebrating a holiday with the children, husband and children in France. So I will be online though. I will be checking in, making sure that everybody's got the answers they want, but an extra day or so is definitely always a risk. So thank you very much for hanging in there throughout all of this with me, and I hope to see you again soon.